Welcome to this video series for skilled nursing facilities. We will be discussing the MDS, which is the minimum data set that is required for submission to CMS on a regular basis for every resident. If you need more information than this short video can provide, please go to the www.cms.gov website for the most recent RAI manual. Today we will talk about types of significant change assessments in MDS. In MDS terms, a significant change is one which causes a care plan to need adjustment. Perhaps it can be a misdiagnosis that surfaces as a conversational aside. For instance, an orthopedic resident with a total knee replacement might not have told the surgeon he was taking metformin, because it had been a while since he filled the prescription. Suddenly you're faced with an established resident with a diabetes diagnosis, which changes much about the care plan. Who knows how many assessments have gone by inaccurately? In such a case, you have to look back at the last MDS OBRA assessment. Was it a comprehensive or a non-comprehensive? In other words, was it a quarterly or something else? If the last OBRA assessment was a quarterly, you have an SCQA, significant change in the quarterly assessment, A0310A equals 0.6. This is a distinct item set in MDS, the NQ quarterly item set. Like the quarterly, it is a non-comprehensive assessment, and it depends on your state if there are some items that can be skipped. It also does not reset the OBRA clock. The next quarterly and annual keep to the same schedule as originally set at admission. It is more likely that the last OBRA assessment was an admission. That is because these sorts of clinical secrets may hide for a while, but not very long. If you typically do your admissions assessment as a combo with the 5-day PPS, it may take more than a week for your resident information to come from the primary physician. This is often a more complete and detailed clinical picture than the hospitalist sought out, which might be that a clinical secret is revealed. In this case, you have an SCPA, significant change in the previous assessment, A0310A equals 0.5, which is also a comprehensive assessment. This means that, like the admission, you have grace to set the ARD as late as 14 days from the notice of new information. It also means that you must review and rethink the CAT and CAW tables in section V. And this is now a reset of the OBRA clock, which means that the next quarterlies will be due 92 days from this SCPA rather than from the original admission. So what is the difference between an SCPA and an SCSA, significant change in status on assessment? On paper, not much. They use the same item set and the same CAT and CAW sign-off. The difference is that the SCSA, A310A equals 0.4, means that something changed with the resident, with the clinical status of the resident. The SCPA, A310A equals 0.5, means that nothing really changed with the resident. The change is with your understanding of the resident. So it means that only one new piece of information can trigger an SCPA if that new information has far-reaching medication, therapy, dietary, and/or housing implications enough to require a major change in the care plan. An SCSA is required if there are two changes in care items as experienced by the resident. These two changes do not have to be related to the same diagnosis. And the two changes do not have to be negative. So, for instance, a diabetic resident might achieve glucose control enough to come off of insulin and use oral medications. At the same time, there may have been a hearing loss, such that now they need hearing aids. These are two clinical changes that impact the care plan going forward, one positive and one negative. Taken together, they require an SCSA to be filed. If there is only one change, but the MDS team feels that the care plan is impacted significantly enough, the team can always choose to do an SCSA if they wish. But the entire assessment must be completed, not just the sections you wish to change. And as a comprehensive assessment, the CAT and CAW tables must also be completely reviewed. Many teams have questions that sound like, these two changes are not large, even though there are two. Must we still do an SCSA? After all, a comprehensive assessment takes a large amount of time by several people to complete. It is true that some declines might be quickly reversible, and you do get 14 days to finish the SCSA from the time you notice the changes. This can happen in cases of infection or viruses. A new antibiotic and period of isolation may be over before the SCSA can be completed. In this case, you should set up the new MDS SCSA file and proceed as if it were to be submitted according to the 14-day ARD date. If on that date the care plan has reverted back to the original baseline, and both declines have reversed back to the baseline, then there is no reason to file the SCSA. However, there is very good reason to document that you monitored the situation closely and how your decision for not filing was made. Thank you for watching this video on MDS. As always, if you need further information, please go to www.cms.gov for the most recent REI manual. That's your best information. Another good source of information is your state coordinator. There is a list of your MDS coordinators in Appendix B of the REI manual. Thank you for your time.